In today's What Sold video, we're actually going to be covering 2 weeks of sales, including the first week where I had a drop on my website. So I'm going to be sharing with you how those sales went, if I feel like having my own website is worth it, and much, much more. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I'm a part-time reseller on a variety of reselling platforms, and I'm also a high school choir teacher. I actually just got back from Ohio. My a cappella group competed in a competition.
Yeah, we tried to be friends, but it ends up being much more.
They did really well. They didn't place or anything, but we had a really good time. They felt like they did their best, and that's what matters, right? So like I shared earlier, we are going to be talking about 2 weeks worth of sales, January 9th through the 15th, and then January 16th through the 22nd. And if you enjoy these kind of What Sold videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because I do try to do these once a week, sharing with you everything that sold for me so that you have a lot of information to take with you as you go sourcing yourself. You can kind of think back to my videos and be like, oh, I remember that girl sold, this brand for a lot of money, so maybe this is worth picking up. Or, ooh, I remember that Becky girl only sold this brand for like $8, so maybe I'll leave that behind. So hopefully there's a lot of value in these videos. And like I said, subscribe so that YouTube lets you know when I upload more videos just like this. So let's start by talking about Monday, which was January 9th. On Poshmark, I sold this Top of the World, that was the brand name, UMD, I don't even remember. I'm not even going to try to remember. Duluth Bulldogs. So University of Maryland? I don't know. Maroon hoodie sweater in a size medium. Minnesota. I had it at the end of the listing title, and yet I struggled that much. I wanted to say Maryland because MD, but not correct. So, oh, I get it. University of Minnesota, Duluth. Also don't know if I'm saying that right. This sold for $20. I had $2 into it because I bought out a reseller's clothing. She got into reselling not too long ago, and as many resellers do, just went crazy with the sourcing aspect and, found that she had quite the death pile, and also realized that she just really didn't enjoy selling clothes. So she reached out and asked if I would be willing to buy all of her clothes off of her. I said yes, and I have been very busy listing those items, even though I've had those items in my house now for like over half a year. I'm just not getting to them, and you'll see that a lot of those things are selling. So I had $2 into that item, and after Poshmark fees and my cost of goods, my net profit on that was $14. I don't make a killing selling collegiate pieces, like hoodies, jackets, that sort of thing, but I do find that they always sell. They're pretty consistent sellers. The pieces do usually sit around a little bit longer because you're definitely catering to a much smaller audience and you're waiting for them to find your item, but they do end up selling, and you make decent money off of it. So especially if you're sitting on like a ton of stuff from maybe the college that you attended, I definitely think it's worth listing, especially if you happen to still live in the town where that college is, because a lot of people local to you will be looking for those items, especially college students and stuff. So especially Facebook Marketplace, just like local pickup, I think is a really smart way to maybe move some of those items quickly. But even if you're listing them on places like Poshmark and eBay, those items do sell. The next thing to sell was over on eBay. It was this Patagonia Eva Luna, that was the style name, purple faux wrap long sleeve dress in a size medium. This I got from a different reseller when I bought a wholesale pallet off of her. I had $3.92 into it. It sold for $27.90. That was an offer that I sent out to watchers, and so I made a net profit of $17.97. Patagonia jackets always sell for me between like $25 and $35-ish dollars. I don't know, like sometimes they sell quickly, sometimes I have to sit on them. It just kind of depends, but they're pretty dependable sellers. On Tuesday, which was January 10th, on Poshmark, I sold this new in the box. The brand was Hansong. It was this Hollywood 9 bulb light makeup mirror and compact mirror. It was basically like one of those mirrors that lights up and it magnifies. So if you're doing your makeup, or like, especially if you're plucking your eyebrows, it's just a really great mirror to have because you're seeing your face really close up because of the magnification aspect. I got this in an Amazon wholesale box. I had a company reach out to me about doing an unboxing on my channel of Amazon returns. This was in that box. I took forever to get it listed because I hate listing hard goods. And literally within 2 weeks of listing it, it sold for $35. I believe I had it listed for like $50, but I got an offer of $35. It's a big piece and I was just very excited to get it out of my house. So I made a profit of $28 on that because I didn't have anything into the item. I got it for free as part of that, unboxing deal. And that was a great little profit. And just a reminder to me to like stop waiting around to list things just because I don't like them. Or maybe like the actual strategy that we can all learn from this is just put off listing certain things, and as a result, as soon as you list it, it'll sell. I don't know. Maybe there's some truth in that. Maybe that's just malarkey, but that's always what seems to happen to me. Also, if you can't really see that much behind me, but it's kind of a mess behind me. I got it really clean as we were showing the house, to sell it. Now that the house has sold, it's getting crazy again because now we're starting the process of moving, which is not fun when you're a reseller and you have a ton of crap in your house. But that's another reason why I was happy to get rid of this item, because the less items that I have to move to a new home, the better. So I definitely am accepting offers, just trying to move stuff out, especially the bigger pieces. If you have tips on how to move as a reseller, please let me know, because like I said, I'm not looking forward to it. The next thing to sell was over on eBay. It was by the brand Jada Gypsy, which is one of my favorite brands to resell. I don't find it very often. I've only found it at a local pop-up consignment sale that happens twice a year, but I feel like at every sale, there's at least 1 or 2 pieces by this brand. It's usually marked up a decent amount, but like this item, for example, sold for $64.99. It was a black union suit, that was the style name, scoop neck cropped jumpsuit in a size small/medium. That's another thing about this brand is they always do like a small/medium or medium/large. Like they can't commit to saying that it's just one size, but it's a very log-and look brand. I feel like a lot of log-and look pieces, especially by brands like Flax or even Bryn Walker, they can look almost a little too oversized, like to the point where people just look a little sloppy. But I feel like this brand has that log-and look feel, but it also has a very like put together quality about it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's successful in looking somewhat trendy, but also log and look and just very comfortable. So like I said, it sold for $64.99. It was promoted at 3%. I had $10 into that item. Truth be told, I probably had a little bit more into it. $10.05 was my average cost of goods for that day, and I bet this actually cost a little bit more, but there were other things that I had purchased that day that brought the average price down a little bit. Regardless, I'm saying that my net profit on this jumpsuit was $43.13. So if you ever find this brand, it's a made in USA brand. I believe that maybe they have like a store in California or something. I don't know. But it's not something that you find very often, but definitely be on the lookout for it. The next thing to sell was over on Mercari. It was by the brand Zia, which is like one of those MLM brands, but like one that people still really like. It's an activewear brand. And this was just a blue scoop neck workout tank top in a men's size medium. When I picked it up, I believe I got this at a local consignment store. I thought it was a women's piece, but it was actually a men's Zia piece. I don't even know they made men's until I found this. I only had $3 into it. It sold for $18, which isn't a ton, but I made a profit of $12.18. So there you go. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, the 11th and 12th, I had no sales. Now, I will say at this point in my life, I was preparing a lot for my January drop. And what I mean by that is on my website, which is shopbeckypark.com, I do monthly drops, which means, as I am outsourcing and thrifting, I save kind of my favorite pieces, and I aim to have anywhere from like 20 to 40 items in a drop, which means on the day of the drop, I will have those items go live on my website. Those things are available like from that point on, but they just happen to drop on that day. And this was my first time trying it like this, and so I was doing a lot of preparation for the drop, listing the items and just being very like crazy about how things would look. And I was still kind of designing my site and things like that. So I bet I was pretty preoccupied in terms of preparing for the drop. But that being said, I feel like I still listed on Wednesday and Thursday, and I feel like I still did the things that I'm supposed to do. I just had no sales. But thankfully, Friday, January 13th, it was the day of my drop. And I would say it was a success. I thought it did really well, and I was really proud of myself. Did I make $1 million? Absolutely not, but it was really cool to see people come out and support and, you know, make their purchases for me. I was just so thankful. So like I said, my website is shopbeckypark.com. I did just have my February drop. A lot of the pieces from the February drop and even some pieces from the January drop are still available. Like I still have like new with tags Good American jeans available. I don't super get that, but there are some really, really great pieces. So definitely check out the website. And what I do is I offer free shipping and the lowest price on these items compared to how I'm pricing them on other reselling platforms. And the reason for that is because since it's my own site, I'm not paying for platform fees and things of that nature. So I'm able to offer you and anyone else who visits the site a much better price on these items. And so if you want to check it out, first of all, I would be so honored that you even want to take any time to check out my website. There's women's, men's, even some children's pieces, and I'd love for you to check it out. And thank you in advance. So the first thing that sold on this Friday was over on eBay actually, and it was this Chico's white floral patch button-up jacket. Essentially, it was like a white jacket, not even really denim, just maybe like polyester, but on the back, there was just this huge, like, I don't know, I called it a patch, but usually, you know, we think of patches being like this big, but it was like a block of fabric. I don't know how else to describe it, but it was just kind of sewn onto the back of this jacket. It sold for my full asking price of $24.99. I would have priced it higher, except there were a good number of stains and things like that all over the jacket, which is why I priced it pretty low. And I only had $2 into it because it was part of that reseller lot that I bought from the person who didn't want to resell clothes anymore. So I made a profit of $18.46. And this is my weekly reminder to you, list things even if they're flawed. I sell flawed items all the time, and as long as you take pictures of the flaws, disclose them in the description, you should be good to go. All right, so now we're going to get into some of the items that sold as a result of my January drop on my website. I had a good number of things sell on Friday, some things sold on Saturday as well. So we'll start with Friday sales. The first thing to sell sold to Michelle, and I kind of knew she was going to buy this because when I showed it in a haul video, she was like, oh my gosh, I need that. It was this torrid black floral smocked off-the-shoulder maxi dress. It was in a plus size 4X, and I don't even think it was her size, but she's like, I'm just going to make it work. She's like, it's beautiful. I got it at a local consignment store, and I paid $8.50 for it, but Michelle bought it for $39.95, and again, I paid for shipping. So after my cost of goods, after I paid for shipping, I made a net profit of $21.27. So Michelle, thank you so much, and I hope you love the dress. The next thing to sell was a bundle of 2 items, 2 really great Levi's pieces, and these sold to Jamie. So the first thing that sold was this Levi's denim trucker jean jacket in a men's size small. This I actually got a while ago, and if you look at my website, I actually have a sales section. These are things that have been listed for a while on some of my reselling platforms. I don't really get why, because they're really cool, and so I listed them for even cheaper on my website, and this happened to be one of those items. I had about $3 into that. And then the second item was this pair of Levi's ribcage straight light wash high-rise jeans in a size 30 by 27, and I got those for $16 at Plato's Closet. So I sold these 2 items to Jamie for $94.90. Once you factor in my shipping costs and my cost of goods, I still came out with a profit of $65.16 on those 2 items. So Jamie, thank you so much for coming out and supporting and getting 2 really great pieces. I appreciate you so much. The next bundle that sold went out to Willa. Willa, thank you, thank you, thank you. The first thing that she got was this pair of Anthropologie. The style name was Doria, and they were these geometric print sleep trouser pants in a women's size large. So essentially they were PJ pants. I just really liked the print on them. I thought they were really cool, and they would be so fun to sleep in. I got those for $6 at a Plato's Closet. And then the next thing that I sold to Willa was this pair of Mark Fisher. The style name was Canna, and they were these tan suede fur slide sandals in a size 7. Those I had $4.20 into from a Plato's Closet as well, and those 2 items sold to Willa for $58.41. Once you factor in the cost of goods and shipping costs, I made a net profit on those 2 items of $37.38. So Willa, thank you so much. Those were both really super comfy pieces. The next bundle that sold to Sharon. Sharon, thank you so much. She got 3 pieces from me. The first one was another pair of just like very comfortable pants. These were by the brand Flying Tomato. They were these blue striped embroidered waistband wide leg pants in a women's size large, and I got those for $4 at a Plato's Closet. The next item, this was such a great piece. It was this vintage Alexander Julian colors blue 100% cashmere v-neck sweater in a size medium. I got that at Plato's Closet as well, and I had $4.50 into that. And then the last item that she bought from me was by the brand Emu. It's like an Australian brand. It was this brown Woolmark 100% merino wool cowl neck sweater dress in a women's size medium. This one I got for $8 at a local consignment store, and this one I believe had like a couple really small holes in it, which I again took pictures of. I disclosed in the description. So these 3 items sold to Sharon for $79.85. After cost of goods and the fact that I shipped it out to her, I made a net profit of $43.74 on those 3 items. Karen, thank you so much for your purchase, all of which, like, these were just like such cozy pieces. I love how too, like, everyone that got bundles from me, the bundles seem to have a theme, and I'm here for it. The next thing to sell went to Gabriella. She got this Cabela's beige plaid button-up shirt in a size 2XL. I kind of described it and modeled it as a shacket, just the idea of like a really big oversized button-up shirt that you could wear as a jacket over like a pair of jean shorts and a nice little t-shirt or a tank. I thought it was really fun and really cute, and the fact that it was a men's size 2X gave it that perfect oversized feel. So this sold to Gabriella for $29.95. I had $2 into it from the reseller who didn't want to sell clothes anymore. So after I paid for shipping and after my cost of goods, I made a profit of $18.11 on that. So Gabriella, thank you so much. And by the way, if you guys are purchasing things from me on Shopify, I would love to see pictures of you in the pieces. I'd love to see how you style them. Please make sure that you tag me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is BECKYPARK on Poshmark. Like, when I saw this piece, I had a vision for how it needed to be styled, but I would also love to see what you guys are doing with the pieces as well. The next thing to sell was this Patagonia Cinchilla Fleece Southwestern print full zip vest in a women's size small. This one I got at Plato's as well, and I did pay up for it. I paid $18, but I just thought it was so cool, and I knew that someone would want to snatch it up and that it would go to a great home. This one sold for $49.95 to Madeline. So Madeline, thank you so much. I hope you love it, and I made a net profit on that of $24.04. So I went to bed so happy, so thankful that night, and it wasn't even over. I even had a few more sales the next day, but you guys have no idea how appreciative I was of the fact that you guys came out and supported me and my small business in this way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. On Saturday, which was January 14th, I had a few sales on other platforms and then some more sales on my website. But on Poshmark, I sold this pair of Levi's 559 relaxed fit jeans in a men's 40 by 32. These sold for $25. I only had $2.99 into them from a local thrift store, so my net profit on those was $17.01. A lot of Levi's sold this week, I'm just now realizing. On eBay, I sold this new Zenrik black heavy-duty shock something. You guys, my handwriting is atrocious. Shockproof, that's what it says. Shockproof rugged case. It was for an iPad mini, like either the 1, 2, or 3, and it also had a strap. This is one of those things that came to me in the Amazon box, that wholesale box. I would never in my life pick something up like this to resell. I just, again, hate reselling hard goods, so I would never. But it sold for $9.99, which was my full asking price. It sold so fast because, you know, I went with the method of just like ignoring something for the longest time and then listing it, and then it sold immediately, and I made a net profit of $8.40. The next thing to sell was this Mod, that was the brand name, floral long sleeve v-neck swing mini dress in a size small. I used the words like grunge and 90s in the listing title. This sold for $18 after about 3 years of being listed. It took forever. I only had 80 cents into it because it came from a consignment store forever ago when they let me shop by myself in bulk in their storage unit. And so my cost of goods per item was like 80 cents. So I made a net profit of $14.11. But I do not pick up this brand anymore because I have PTSD from how long I've been sitting on this particular dress. Back to some sales that I made on my website. I sold this amazing sweater. And again, I kind of knew that this person was going to buy it because when I hauled it, she's like, oh my God, that sweater is amazing. This sold to Allison. It was this vintage Woolsey. That was the brand name. Woolsey apparently is one of the first, I forget how it was described, first companies that, I'm going to look it up really quick. Hold on.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I'm looking at their website. It says Woolsey was established in 1755. Can you imagine just so much history in this brand? And it is the oldest British menswear brand built on design and quality. The brand has been a royal warrant holder since 1935. I don't know what that last sentence means, but the fact that it has been around since 1755, I thought that was so cool. I don't know any of that when I found this at a Goodwill. I found it on a new rack and I was like, oh my gosh, this has to come home with me because it had a bagpiper on the front. That's what was embroidered on the front, and he was playing the bagpipes. It was a wool blend sweater in a men's size extra large. And it was just so good. It was so cool. So I hauled it in a video. I had $4.99 into it, and it sold to Allison for $39.95. After shipping, after my cost of goods, my profit on that was $26.99. But you guys, it was such a cool piece. I'm so happy that it went to Allison. And that's what I aim to do on my website is, to find these truly one-of-a-kind pieces. Like when I looked for comps on that sweater, I could not find an identical one to it anywhere. I looked and I looked and I looked, couldn't find one. So I'm really trying to find these one-of-a-kind pieces and put them on my website for a very fair price. I also have a lot of good staples on there. You saw a lot of Levi's jeans or shoes or, things of that nature. I have some staples, really high quality pieces on there too, but I'm also making an effort to find just really fun and cool pieces like this bagpipe sweater, and I'm so happy that Allison snatched it up. So thank you so much. The next sale went to one of my favorite people on Instagram and whatnot. Her name is Michelle. You guys might know her as Labels for Locals on Instagram. My God, this woman, I mean, she's amazing. She's a kindred spirit. I wish she would have a YouTube channel. I would watch all of her stuff in a heartbeat. She is amazing. If you're not following her on Instagram, please do. But a lot of whatnot shows, to be honest, can be kind of cringy to sit through and watch because, some people are just maybe not as comfortable in front of the camera. This woman, I just had a smile on my face. Every time I watched her, she was just so lovely. So definitely make sure you're following her. But she bought something from my website. She got this Essentials Fear of God cream short sleeve oversized t-shirt in a size medium for her husband. And she said that he loved it. But Michelle, I'm just so honored that you came to my website and bought something. Thank you so much. I found this, believe it or not, at my local Goodwill for $3.99. This Fear of God shirt. I was shooketh to my core. Fear of God is just a really great and very popular streetwear brand. There are some pieces that sell for a ton. And so it's not that regular t-shirts like this are going to sell for $1 bajillion, but it's that they're going to sell fast. And the fact that I could sell it for $40 is crazy. I mean, you can list it for much higher on reselling platforms, but it's a really great brand to be on the lookout for. But I made a net profit on that t-shirt of $26.99. So again, thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate you and just love you to pieces. The next thing to sell, and the last sale that we'll talk about from my January drop, was this pair of Reeker Teal Peacock Peyton 05, that was the style name, leather side zip ankle boots in a European size 41. These were some really cool boots that I found at my local Goodwill for $14.99. Reeker is a really great brand. They are known for comfort wear, but not to the extent of Dansko, I would say. Yes, they're known for comfort, but it's not clogs and things of that nature. So these sold for $64.95 to Regina. So Regina, thank you so much. And I made a net profit of $37.01 on those. It's a great shoe brand to be on the lookout for, and those I thought were just so, so cool. So really happy that that went out to Regina. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The last sale that we'll talk about from this week was over on Mercari. It was this Columbia white white and purple full zip hooded lightweight jacket in a women's size extra large. This was really dirty, like lots of stains everywhere, just lots of wear, you know, like especially jackets. I just feel like you always get a lot of wear, like kind of on the sleeves, and you could tell this person was very active in their jacket, as a lot of us are. So I didn't list it for very much. It sold for $15 on Mercari, and I had $2 into it because it came from the reseller who didn't want to sell clothes. So I made a net profit of $10.56. I sold nothing on Sunday. So while it was a strong week for my drop, I had 3 $0 sales days. I mean, my other platforms really suffered. Let me tell you how much before we talk about next week's sales. Poshmark, I only sold 3 items. eBay, I sold 5. Mercari, I sold 1. Shopify, I sold 13. Now, in this video right here, where I talked about my goals for reselling in the year 2023, one of my most ambitious statements probably was that I wanted to make the most money this year from my own website. And that's a pretty crazy statement. If you think about it, the reason why we pay platform fees to reselling platforms like Poshmark or eBay or Mercari is because they are doing advertising for us and for our closets and for our items. So, you know, I don't have to send people to eBay in order to find my listings. People just know eBay and they go there to search for things, and my items happen to be there. But when you have your own website, you have to do your own advertising. You have to drive your own traffic to your website. And I'll be honest with you, running my own website, I have found it to be very challenging for a number of reasons. I do think that if I search very specifically for specific items that I have on my website on Google, I can get them to show up in search, but also there are like extra steps you have to take to maybe boost those items in search on Google even more. I don't know. There's a lot of little nuances to it that make running your own website very difficult, and I don't have all of those things down yet. I'm still learning so much, and there were a lot of growing pains that went into creating my own website. So it's really hard, but I will say this particular week, absolutely Shopify was my best performing platform. Am I in a place right now where, you know, Shopify is providing me the most income compared to all of my other reselling platforms as a whole? Absolutely not. But my goal is to be consistent with having a drop every single month and to just kind of keep growing the reputation of my website and seeing what even like consistency will do to boosting its ability to be found in search on Google. I don't know. I'm just trying all the things and we'll see what happens. But again, I was just so humbled and amazed and so thankful at the number of people who did visit the website, even if they didn't buy anything, you know, as I was kind of like looking at the analytics and seeing how many people were checking it out. I was just so thankful that you guys are even giving it a shot, and especially to those of you who have made purchases. You don't know how much it means to me. Like I mean, there was like a point when I was kind of almost in tears because I was like, I can't believe that people want to support in this way. So thank you. Thank you for making my hard work worth it. And I hope you understand how much I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So in total for the week, I had sold 22 items for a gross sales amount of $751.71. Just to give you a little bit of perspective, $497 of that was on my own website. So that was really cool. Once you factor in fees and shipping, all that kind of stuff, that total drops to $610.55. I had $125.43 as my cost of goods. So my net profit for the week was $485.12. My other platforms really did horribly, but thankfully I did great with my website. You guys really pulled through and made me a really happy girl. So thank you. Let's talk about the next week of sales. But before we do that, if you're enjoying this video, please do me a favor, hit that like button and maybe take a moment to share it with your friends on social media. Just get the word out about the video because it definitely helps to boost this particular video and my channel in the YouTube algorithm. So thank you so much for liking the video. So moving on, you guys, I started the week with another $0 sales day, which means I had 2 back-to-back. Because if you remember the Sunday prior, 0 sales, Monday, 0 sales. So moving into Tuesday, which was January 17th, which was my brother's birthday. On Poshmark, I sold this Tommy Hilfiger striped V-neck sweater in a size small. This thing has also been listed for years, like probably 3-4 years at this point. I believe my mother-in-law just gave it to me for free. This is not the kind of thing that I would pick up to resell, and I'm a little shocked that it sold for $20. It's probably been relisted like 18 times, and I don't know. So actually when it sold, I kind of freaked out momentarily because I was like, I'm pretty sure this is already sold. Like, I don't think I have this anymore. I had it. I've had it for so long. And I made a net profit of $16 on it, finally. The next thing to sell was by the brand Liz and Me Signature. It was this blue button-up trucker denim jacket in a women's 5X. This sold for $17 with discounted shipping. I had $2 into it because it came from the reseller who didn't want to sell clothes anymore. So I made a net profit of $9.88. A lot of the pieces that I got from this particular reseller are not high dollar items. It's a lot of like $10, $15, $20 sales. So it is very labor intensive. This is one of the reasons why I have committed to not doing wholesale, buys in the year 2023 anymore, just because a lot of times you get sent a lot of stuff that you would never have picked up yourself. I would have never picked this up, even at the bins probably. But it came to my house. I just went ahead and listed it. I did donate a lot of those items. I did also take a lot of them to the pop-up consignment sale. Like, I actually moved out a lot of pieces without even listing them. This was something that I was like, I should just list it. So it kind of tells you like how bad some of the pieces were. And that's how it goes when you buy wholesale. There are some winners, and even from this person, there were a good number of wins. There were some stinkers too. So, I don't know. That's just something you have to think about if someone reaches out to you about buying out their inventory. On Wednesday, which was January 18th, I had 2 eBay sales, and this is what I'm talking about. So the first item that I sold on eBay was from the same reseller, the person who didn't want to sell clothes anymore, and this was a win. It was this vintage Schaefer Outfitters black goose down bomber jacket in a size large, and this was like Native American made, I believe it said on the tag. I have never heard of this brand before, but when I looked it up, one, there were just not very many comps, but the comps that there were pretty good. I had it listed for $100, but at this particular time, I had a 10% sale running, so it sold for $89.99, and that was pretty quickly after I listed it. I only had $2 into it because it came from that buyout, so I made a net profit on that item of $78.73, which is much better than the $9.88 I made on that denim jacket the night before from the same person. So some really, really great wins, but lots of stinkers too. The next thing to sell was by the brand As Color. Not a brand that you need to be looking out for. It's one of those, like, you know how like Gildan, or like there's like a rabbit one, I don't know, but there's like those brands like Hanes, like you can just buy plain t-shirts, and the purpose of them is so you can like get things screen printed on them or things like that. So I think that's what this As Color brand is. It's just like a company that sells very generic plain pieces so that people can get things printed on them. It was this black full zip hoodie in a size medium for men. I got it in a ThredUp men's rescue box, as well as a few other pieces by this brand. This I had $3.79 into because that was my average cost of goods for everything in that box. It sold for $10.79. That's because I had a 10% sale going on eBay, and so I made a net profit of $4.86.
I'm rich. Hey.
That is why, like I said, I am committing in the year 2023 to not buying any wholesale boxes, even on ThredUp, because while you can get some amazing pieces, you also get crap like this, and I feel bad about donating it or whatever. I just end up listing most of the things, even when I know that they're not super worth my time, and that's why I'm not buying these boxes anymore in the year 2023. On Thursday, which was January 19th, on Poshmark, I sold this vintage Florence tricot, I don't know, multicolored textured button-up sweater vest in a men's size extra large. This was a little ridiculous, but also very in line with what I have had so much luck selling, as far as like these 90s or like Y2K inspired textured knit sweaters. This sold for $35 on Poshmark. Sold really fast. That was my full asking price. I only had $2 into it because it came from the same person who sold me all of the clothes that she didn't want to resell. So I made a net profit of $26 on that. The next thing to sell was over on eBay. It was this pair of new with tags Calvin Klein blue swim trunks. It had like an 8-inch inseam, and it was in a men's size medium. This sold for $19.90. That was an offer that I sent out to watchers. I had $2 into it from a friend of mine who gave me all of his stuff that he didn't want to take with him as he moved, let's see, like 3 hours north of where I live. He didn't want to take it with him, so he just gave me a bunch of stuff. I gave him some money for it. Came out to about $2 a piece. So I made a net profit on those swim trunks of $15.39. On Mercari, I sold this vintage Nautica orange turtleneck shirt in a size medium for men. Again, this is not the kind of thing that I would pick up at the thrift store. I had it in my house from the reseller who didn't want to resell clothes anymore. I went ahead and listed it, and it sold very fast, but it sold for $15. I had $2 into it, so I made a net profit of $10.56. On Friday, which was January 20th, I had a pretty decent sales day. On Poshmark, I sold this vintage Marquise, that was the brand name, green geometric print pullover sweater in a men's size extra large. I put the words 90s and Y2K in the listing title. This sold for $35. I got it from a vintage wholesale website called Fleek. So a lot of you have heard me talk about this in my What Sold videos because the items from that 25-piece box, it was all men's vintage sweaters. They've just been selling so well. And I do have like a handful of them left, so you'll hear me continue talking about this Fleek box as these things sell through, but I got some really cool pieces in it. And if you want to see what I got in that box, like all of the things, I will link that video right here. But I had $1.82 into this piece because it was a partnership that I did with the company Fleek. Otherwise, my average cost of goods would have been around like $15 and something cents per item. But because they gave me some credit to work with, I only had to pay $1.82 per item. And I made a net profit of $26.18 on that. The next item to sell on Poshmark was this vintage Laundry by Shelly Segal maroon sleeveless embroidered dress in a size 10. This sold for $29. I had $11.16 into it from a pop-up consignment sale that happens twice a year. And to be honest, I was like a little bit iffy about buying this dress when I was at the sale, but I just thought it was beautiful. And, you know, it doesn't happen often, but there are times that I will pick up things just based on style, this being one of them. And even though I didn't make a huge profit, I only made $12.04 on that, I probably would have done it again. I would have picked it up again because I just thought it was a really pretty dress. The next thing to sell was this Gymboree blue striped sleeveless casual maxi dress in a size youth 6. This sold for $12 on Poshmark. That was an offer that was sent to me. I only had $1.50 into it because I bought it from a local reseller who wanted to get out of reselling so she could focus on her personal life. And I have sold through like 95% of the stuff that she gave me. She gave me some really, really good stuff. A lot of bread and butter too, but also some really great things. So I made a net profit of $7.55 on that dress when all was said and done. On eBay, I had a great sale. So while I was with students, where were we? Oh, so in November, I took some students to a festival in a town called Bourbonnais. It's just a small town in Illinois. And while they were in rehearsal, I went thrifting. And at one of the Goodwills, I picked up this jacket by the brand Apollos Global Citizen. It was a black indigo wool blend chore jacket. That's what it was called, a chore jacket. And it was in a men's size extra small. So, you know, there were kind of a lot of reasons to not pick it up. One of the main ones being that it was in a men's size extra small. That's really small. And it was $24.99. When I was in the store, especially with it being priced as high as it was, I did take the time to look up comps. There just were not very many. And a lot of the ones that I was finding were not on, you know, regular websites like eBay. They were on, you know, websites like Grailed and other places like that, kind of more specialty secondhand websites, especially, you know, Grailed typically caters towards men. I think maybe now you can sell women's pieces. I'm not sure. It's not a platform that I sell on. And I didn't really see very many solds on places like eBay or Poshmark, if any at all. And in fact, this brand no longer makes clothing. They make these like bags, kind of like glorified, I don't know, what is this called? This kind of bag, like just, you know, like canvas bags. They don't really make men's clothing anymore. So there were just a lot of reasons for me to be like, I don't know if this is the best pickup. I picked it up. It sold for $164.90 on eBay. That was because of an offer that I sent out to watchers. Whew, that was a good sale. I had, like I said, $24.99 into it. I made a net profit on this jacket of $116.97. Sometimes you just have to listen to your gut. That's exactly what I did with this jacket. There were a lot of things telling me that maybe this wasn't the best decision to make, but I did it anyway and it paid off. That doesn't always happen, but in this situation it did, and I was so very thankful. The next eBay sale was not so amazing. It was this pair of soft surroundings, the ultimate denim pull-on skinny jeans. They were like jeggings in a women's size medium. I picked them up at a local consignment store for $9.99, and I only sold them for $20 on eBay. So I made a net profit of $4.41. One thing I am learning is that soft surroundings bottoms do not do very well. Their dresses can do amazing. Their tops can do okay. Their bottoms, I don't know, people are not about their bottoms, so I probably will not be picking them up very much anymore unless they're super cheap or unless I look up the comps and they seem to be amazing. On Saturday, which was January 21st, on Poshmark, I sold 3 things. The first one was by the brand IMAC, maybe it's pronounced IMAC, I'm not sure. They were these blue leather lace-up Italian wedge shoes. They had shock absorber technology, and they were in a European size 35. They sold for $25. I had $6.99 into them from a local consignment store, so I made a profit of $13.01. I probably didn't need to pick these up. Like when I looked up comps were okay. I don't know. I don't know why I picked them up. I feel like whenever anything says that it's Italian made, I'm like, oh, this must be amazing. No, Italians make really amazing stuff, but they also make like okay stuff too. Like just mediocre stuff or just even stuff that's great, but nobody cares that it's great, right? Which is what I think is this brand. And I also didn't need to get them because they were really, really small. I think they were in like a women's size, what is it? It said 35, so what is that, like a 4? They're really small. But the person who bought them left me a comment and was like, thank you so much for these shoes. It's so hard for me to find shoes because my feet are so small. And that's why I always preach, even if it is gonna take you a little bit longer to sell something because of its size, small people need clothes too. Even this person who wears a European size 35, that person needs shoes. And men who wear size extra small, they need jackets too and are willing to pay $164.90. Also, a woman could have bought that jacket because, it's like women wear men's clothes all the time. So I don't know who bought the jacket, but they were willing to pay $165 for it. Small people need clothes. People of all sizes need clothes. So I tend to pick up clothes regardless of size. It just causes me to pause if I'm being asked to pay up for something that's in a size that's harder to sell. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pick up size 5 shoes, going to pick up size extra small, no matter what. But if they're asking for a lot of money for those items at the thrift store, that's when I'm like, okay, let's really think about this. Let's really study comps. And even sometimes after doing that, sometimes I make bad choices. I'm human. The next sale that we'll talk about was this Bowden Black Audrey Ponte knit boat neck collar dress in a women's size 10. It was a very classic looking dress. It sold for $35 on Poshmark, and I had $9 into it from a local consignment store. So I made a net profit of $19. I do love selling Bowden, but I do feel like lately it has been sitting for longer stretches of time. So just something to think about. It is a British brand. It's a great brand. It's very well constructed. People know of its quality, but like I said, it just has been sitting for longer than it used to. So something to take into consideration. The next sale is by the brand Jaded Gypsy. If you remember, I just talked about it from last week's sales. It was this adjustable strap denim tank chambray jumper in a women's size small/medium. This was kind of more like boho style than anything else, and I sold it for $50 on Poshmark. I had $11.18 into it from a pop-up consignment sale. That's, like I said, the only place I've ever found this brand. So I made a net profit of $28.82. So just looking at this piece, it looks so basic. It's just like a super lightweight denim tank top, essentially. It sold for $50. This is a brand that people will pay up for. And then the last day of sales that we'll talk about is Sunday, January 22nd. On Poshmark, I sold this pair of Vince Baby Bell Crop Honora, that was the style name, blue jeans in a size 26. They sold for $32. I had $3.50 into them from a local Goodwill, so I made a net profit of $22.10. To be honest, I feel like Vince jeans are pretty hard to move. $32 is probably a pretty decent price on them, even though they probably retailed for like $200. Vince is crazy expensive, but I picked them up because they were the color of the week when I got them at Goodwill, and so I paid half the amount that I normally would have to pay for them, and I knew I could probably make at least a $20 profit, which I did. The next thing to sell was such an old piece. I think I've had it for like 2 years. It was by the brand John Blair, which is not a very exciting brand by any means. It was this green full zip sweater in a men's size extra large. I sold it for $15. I got it for like $3 in a men's ThredUp rescue box many years ago, so I made a net profit of $9. But you know, $9 here, $12 here, $4 here, it all adds up. So while I'm not like super excited about those sales, and that's not what I'm striving for, especially moving forward, I'm not mad about making a profit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still really thankful every time something sells and I make a $4.14 profit. Like, would it be nice if it were more? Sure, absolutely. But I will take those knowing that they add up and they help contribute to, you know, that final profit number. And then the last sale that we'll talk about was over on eBay, and it was this Theory Rovell, that was the style name, blue wool lightweight cardigan in a men's size small. I'm pretty sure this belonged to the same person who donated the Apollos Global Citizen jacket. When I went to Goodwill that day, there was just a section at the thrift store of stuff in a men's size small or extra small that was all very high end, a lot of John Varvatos, a lot of Theory, brands like that. They were all marked up because I think, you know, I think Goodwill knows too, like when they get a bunch of donations in and they're all kind of a similar brand and a similar caliber, I think they just start kind of pricing things all in the same vein of like $9.99, $12.99, whatever. So a lot of this person's pieces were marked up. I paid $9.99 for this cardigan, for example, but I looked up comps for this particular piece. They seem to be pretty decent. I was fairly confident that I could get at least a $20 profit even while spending $9.99 to pick this up in the first place. And I was right. It sold for $39.90 on eBay. That was an offer that I sent out to watchers, and I made a net profit of $23.89. So this week I did better on my regular platforms. You'll notice I didn't have any sales on my website, and that's okay. But on Poshmark, I sold 11 items. On eBay, I sold 6, and on Mercari, I sold 1. So in total, I sold 18 items for a gross sales amount of $665.48. When you factor in platform fees and shipping, that total drops to $558.34. My cost of goods on those 18 items was $106.91. And so for the week, I made a net profit of $451.43. We are not hitting our goals. I don't even remember right now. Let's see. I want to make $45,000 in net profit in the year 2023. And in order to do that, I need to make $3,750 a month, which means I need to be making $937.50 a week. And these 2 weeks in January that I just told you about wasn't even halfway there. We are not even close to meeting our goals, but that's okay. I set high goals so that I push myself, but I'm okay. I'm not stressing out about it because nothing bad happens to me if I don't hit my goal. But also, like, today and yesterday, sales were insane, so I'm very excited about that, and hopefully that is the trend that will continue as we go into 2023. But that's my video for the week. Go ahead and drop a comment down in the comments below, letting me know how you enjoyed the video, what you learned, what you're taking away from this. And again, if you haven't subscribed yet, this is your last chance to do so. And if you're like, man, I'm so sad that this video is over and I wish I could watch more What Sold videos, you are in luck because I've got a bajillion more right here in this playlist, so definitely check out that playlist if you want some more What Sold content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!